In the heart of Silicon Valley, a secret rebellion is underway. It's not happening in boardrooms or on protest lines, but in the quiet hum of servers and the frantic typing of developers. While Meta, the company that runs Facebook and Instagram, has been loudly proclaiming its AI, Llama, as the future of open-source technology, another model has quietly staged a coup. A model from China, named Qwen, created by the tech giant Alibaba. Just last year, Meta's Llama was the undisputed king, boasting over 10 million downloads, while Qwen was a rounding error, with barely 500,000. But the latest numbers show a shocking reversal. Qwen and its derivatives have now been downloaded over 385 million times, dethroning Llama's 346 million. This isn't just a minor shift, it's a seismic event. The code powering the next generation of Silicon Valley startups is increasingly being written by a Chinese AI. And the most powerful people in tech are in a quiet panic. Because while their developers are falling in love with Qwen, their investors are terrified of it. This is the story of how Meta's grand plan to dominate the AI world started to crumble in silence. And to understand this corporate drama, we need to look at the raw, undeniable numbers. Numbers on a screen can sometimes feel abstract, but in the world of software, they tell a brutal story of success or failure. And the story here is crystal clear. Let's wind the clock back to the beginning of 2024. Meta's Llama was the darling of the open-source AI community. It had 10.6 million downloads on Hugging Face, the world's biggest hub for AI models. Alibaba's Qwen was a distant blip on the radar, with just 500,000 downloads. It was a complete non-issue. But then, something began to change. Throughout 2024 and 2025, developers started to notice Qwen. Whispers turned into forum posts, and forum posts turned into a flood of adoption. By late 2025, the picture had completely inverted. Qwen had amassed a staggering 385.3 million downloads, blowing past Llama's 346.2 million. It gets even more dramatic when you look at what developers are building. Of all the new AI language models being created and shared in the community, over 40% of them are now based on Qwen's architecture. Meta's share, meanwhile, has plummeted to just 15%. It's like watching the entire foundation of a skyscraper being swapped out, brick by brick, while no one on the outside is supposed to notice. The very ecosystem Meta thought it owned is now being built with a competitor's tools. This isn't a fluke. This is a market-wide trend, a quiet revolution happening at the command line level. The evidence is undeniable, but it begs the most important question. Why? What is it about this Chinese model that has managed to win the hearts and minds of the world's most discerning developers? The answer to why Qwen is winning is surprisingly simple, and it can be summed up in a quote from one of Silicon Valley's most influential figures. Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky was asked why his company wasn't using the much-hyped models from OpenAI. His answer was blunt. He revealed that Airbnb's AI systems rely on over a dozen models, but they are relying a lot on Alibaba's Qwen. Why? Because in his words, it's very good. It's also fast and cheap. Good, fast, and cheap. In any industry, that's the holy trinity. In the cash-burning world of AI startups, it's a lifeline. Qwen models have consistently proven to be incredibly powerful, matching or even beating competitors in complex tasks like coding, math, and understanding multiple languages. But their real killer feature is the performance per dollar. For a startup running millions of API calls a day, the cost difference isn't a small detail on a spreadsheet. It can be the difference between survival and bankruptcy. As one Reddit analysis put it, for a company running billions of operations, the cost difference is existential to your unit economics. While closed-source giants like OpenAI and Anthropic were building powerful but expensive, walled-off systems. Qwen was released under the Apache 2.0 license, one of the most permissive and commercially friendly open-source licenses in the world. This meant developers could use it, modify it, and build businesses on it with almost no strings attached. It was a masterstroke of strategy. Chinese labs optimized for adoption and building an ecosystem, while many US companies optimized for profit margins and control. Now, American companies are choosing Chinese infrastructure simply because it makes better business sense. But this pragmatic choice has created a huge problem for Meta, because it exposes the central flaw in their own grand strategy to rule the AI world. Meta's strategy with Llama was supposed to be its checkmate move in the great AI chess game. By open-sourcing its powerful model, the company positioned itself as the benevolent patron saint of AI infrastructure. The idea was to create a massive, global community of developers who would build their projects, their companies, and their futures on top of Llama. This would create a powerful network effect, making Llama the default standard for AI, just like how Android became the default for mobile phones. Meta's thesis was simple: open wins. But there was a catch. Meta's version of open came with an asterisk. The Llama license has specific restrictions. For instance, it forbids massive cloud providers like Google or Amazon from using Llama to build competing services. While it's free for most, it's not truly free for everyone, especially potential rivals. This led to grumbling in the developer community. It wasn't the pure, unrestricted freedom that open-source purists valued. Alibaba, learning from this, took a different path. They released Qwen with the Apache 2.0 license, a gold standard of open source that comes with virtually no commercial restrictions. They didn't try to control the ecosystem. They simply gave away the most powerful tools and let the community run wild. It was a classic case of the innovator's dilemma. Meta, the established giant, tried to maintain a degree of control to protect its position. Qwen, the challenger, went for maximum adoption, and it worked spectacularly. This strategic difference created the perfect opening for Qwen to capture the long-tail developer market that Meta thought it owned. But as developers flocked to Qwen for its performance and its truly open license, it created a terrifying new problem for their bosses. Here's where the story gets really interesting. Qwen is becoming Silicon Valley's guilty pleasure. The engineers and coders on the front lines love it. It makes their products better, faster, and cheaper to run. But the chief technology officers, the CTOs, and the venture capitalists who fund them absolutely hate the risk. The problem is geopolitics. The US government has been in a fierce tech Cold War with China, and Alibaba is one of China's national tech champions. US officials have raised alarms about Alibaba's alleged ties to the Chinese military, the PLA.
Financial Times this afternoon reporting that Alibaba allegedly provides tech support for Chinese military operations against targets inside the United States.
More importantly, Chinese national security laws can theoretically compel any Chinese company to hand over data to the government if requested. For a US startup building a service that handles sensitive user data, building your entire infrastructure on a model from a Chinese company is a massive red flag. Investors see it as a potential geopolitical blast radius. This has created a bizarre, two-faced culture in the startup world. Development teams are quietly building their prototypes using Qwen because it gives them the best results, fast. But then, before they go to pitch investors for fundraising, they reportedly scrub the commit logs, the digital history of their code, to remove any trace of their reliance on the Chinese model. It's a high-stakes game of hide and seek, where the very thing giving them a competitive edge is also their biggest liability. The risk isn't theoretical. Look at Japan, where major corporations have outright banned the use of Chinese AI models due to information security concerns. The only thing slowing Qwen's complete takeover isn't its capability. It's the fear of what it represents and where it comes from. This fear is rooted in a much larger global conflict that is defining the 21st century. The silent rise of Qwen isn't just about two companies competing. It's a symptom of a much larger shift in global power. For decades, Silicon Valley has operated with the supreme confidence that it was the undisputed center of the technological universe. The best talent, the biggest ideas, and the most powerful software all came from the United States. That era of dominance is now being seriously challenged. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, a man who sits at the absolute center of the AI hardware revolution, sent a chill down Silicon Valley's spine when he warned that China could win the AI race, saying they were just nanoseconds behind. His comments highlight a crucial reality. While the U.S. has focused on restricting China's access to advanced computer chips,
the United States is set to announce new restrictions on China's access to its semiconductor technology. While not fully disclosed, some of the measures include curbs on shipments to China of chip-making equipment and AI chips.
it hasn't stopped Chinese firms from making incredible leaps in the software that runs on them. This creates a paradox. The U.S. is trying to decouple its tech economy from China, but its own startups are becoming increasingly dependent on Chinese AI infrastructure for purely pragmatic reasons. The market is choosing efficiency over ideology. This raises uncomfortable questions. What happens when the next wave of American innovation is built on foundational models that are outside of U.S. regulatory control? What does it mean for AI safety when a huge portion of the world's AI is being developed under a completely different political and ethical framework? Meta's Llama was supposed to be America's open-source champion, a symbol of Western democratic values in the AI sphere. But in the global marketplace of ideas and code, developers are making their own choices. And right now, many are choosing Qwen. So we're left with a strange and fascinating new reality. One of the most significant shifts in the AI industry isn't happening with a big announcement or a flashy product launch. It's happening in millions of downloads, in thousands of lines of code, and in countless secret conversations between developers and their nervous bosses. The rise of Qwen against Llama shows that the AI race is not a simple two-sided sprint between a few American tech giants. It's a complex global phenomenon where performance, cost, and accessibility can sometimes outweigh politics. Meta's open wins thesis isn't necessarily wrong, but it underestimated a competitor who was willing to be even more open, more aggressive, and more attuned to what developers on the ground actually needed. Silicon Valley's guilty pleasure is now out in the open, and it reveals a hidden truth. The engine of American innovation is quietly being powered by code from its biggest global rival. The world of AI is becoming far more interconnected and multipolar than anyone expected, and this silent revolution is only just beginning. If you found this look into the ongoing competition between the US and China on the AI front, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the technologies shaping our world. Thanks for watching.